By reimagining the events surrounding the strange dating game episode in which Rodney Alcala appeared, Woman of the Hour highlights the problem with his casting in the game show. Based on Rodney Alcala's true crime story, Woman of the Hour marks Anna Kendrick's directorial debut. The film has received a positive response from viewers and critics and boasts an impressive Rotten Tomatoes score of 90%. One of the biggest reasons behind its critical success is that it does not unfold like a typical true crime drama. Instead of primarily focusing on the central serial killer's gruesome actions, the movie highlights the perspectives of the individuals who crossed paths with him. With this approach, Woman of the Hour shows how many underlying systemic issues at the time allowed Alcala to get away with his crimes for a long time. The Anna Kendrick true story thriller also walks through Alcala's time in the dating game, underscoring one major issue with his casting in the popular game show. Rodney Alcala already had a criminal history before being cast in the dating game. He had a long history of crimes before he appeared on the show. Before Rodney Alcala moved to Los Angeles in 1978 and became a contestant on the dating game, he had already been added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives and committed at least 2 murders. Almost a decade before his appearance on the show, Alcala had abducted and sexually assaulted an 8-year-old girl, Taylai Shapiro. Although he initially fled to California to evade the arrest warrant for the crime, he was later caught and sentenced to 3 years for child molestation. Only a few weeks after he was released in 1974, he was arrested again for assaulting a 13-year-old girl. As shown in Woman of the Hour, Rodney Alcala also murdered a 23-year-old flight attendant, Cornelia Crilly, in her Manhattan apartment. Rodney Alcala is also believed to be responsible for killing 23-year-old Ellen Jane Hover, who went missing in July 1977. By the time Rodney Alcala was cast in the dating game, he was already a registered sex offender and had been arrested and paroled multiple times for a string of crimes. How Woman of the Hour mentions the dating game's vetting process for contestants. Laura's arc critiques the show's negligence. Woman of the Hour 15 image via Netflix. Although many characters in Woman of the Hour are based on real people, the movie introduces one fictional character named Laura. Laura shows up on the dating game set as one of the members of the audience and realizes that Rodney Alcala had killed her friend in the past. Realizing how dangerous he is, Laura tries to file a complaint with the show's authorities. However, her request is not taken too seriously. Even when she tells her boyfriend about Rodney's identity, he does not believe her and claims the show likely had a vetting process before selecting contestants. Laura's arc may be fictional, but it prompts one to question how someone like Rodney Alcala ended up on such a renowned game show. Her story in Woman of the Hour highlights that even if one of Alcala's victims had recognized and reported him, the systemic issues in place would still have helped him get away with his past actions. By questioning the dating game's vetting process, Woman of the Hour highlights the dangers of complacency and the societal tendency to ignore warnings, especially when they come from women. How Rodney Alcala was cast in the dating game in real life. There were initial concerns surrounding Alcala's casting. Back when Rodney Alcala was cast for the show, running background checks on individuals was not too easy. Google did not exist, and the people behind the show's casting did not have the technology to look into a contestant's past. Despite this, the dating game's executive producer, Mike Metzger, and contestant coordinator, Ellen Metzger, were unsure about having Rodney Alcala on board as a contestant. After meeting Alcala, Metzger noticed a mystique about him that made him uncomfortable, via ABC News. The producer recalled that they had even disagreed about casting him for the show. However, as portrayed in Woman of the Hour, Rodney Alcala eventually got selected and found his place as one of the bachelors on the show.